Have you started waking at 3 a.m., suddenly can't remember words, feeling anxious, gaining weight, even though nothing has changed about your life? And underneath all of it, you have a quiet, unsettling feeling that something just doesn't feel right? It might not be stress. It might not be what you are eating. If you're somewhere between your late 30s and early 50s and you just feel different, there's a very good chance you're already in perimenopause. And the reason nobody told you? Most of the signs don't look the way you'd expect. This channel, The Pause Point, exists because perimenopause and menopause are one of the most significant health transitions every woman will go through, and most of us arrive at it completely unprepared. We're going to talk about what's actually happening in your body, what the science says, and what you can realistically do about it. No hype, no dramatic before and afters. Just clear, honest information. In this video specifically, we're covering the 8 most commonly overlooked signs, because they're not the classic hot flush picture most people imagine. So, even if just 2 or 3 of these land for you, stay until the end, because what to do next matters as much as the signs themselves. Perimenopause literally means around menopause. It's the transition, the years before your periods stop completely. The average woman enters perimenopause around 45, but it can start as early as 35, and it typically lasts between 4 and 10 years. Here's the part most people don't realize. Estrogen doesn't decline smoothly. It fluctuates, sometimes dramatically, up, down, sometimes wildly unpredictable. And those fluctuations are what drive almost every symptom we're about to cover. Here's why this matters beyond your cycle. Estrogen receptors exist in your brain, your gut, your joints, and your cardiovascular system. That means when estrogen fluctuates, you can feel it everywhere. Most women expect perimenopause to announce itself clearly, lighter periods, then nothing. What actually happens is oftentimes the complete opposite. Periods can become heavier, more unpredictable, closer together, then further apart. You might skip a month and then have 2 in 6 weeks. You might flood unexpectedly. This is estrogen fluctuation in action. Not a sign something is wrong, a sign something is shifting. If your cycle has started behaving differently in the last year or 2, that's your first signal worth paying attention to. You've always slept reasonably well, but now you're waking at 3 a.m., mind racing, heart slightly too fast, and there is no reason you can name. This happens for 2 reasons. First, progesterone, which has natural sedative qualities, begins declining early in perimenopause. Second, cortisol can spike in the early morning hours due to hormonal instability. The result? You're awake at 3 a.m., thoughts running, with no obvious trigger. It's not anxiety, it's hormones. This is the sign that sends most women to their GP convinced something is seriously wrong. A low-level persistent anxiety that wasn't there before, a shorter fuse than you recognize in yourself. Feeling tearful or overwhelmed by things that wouldn't have touched you 2 years ago. Estrogen has a direct role in serotonin and dopamine regulation. When estrogen fluctuates, so does your emotional equilibrium. These feelings are real, they are also hormonal, and that distinction matters because it changes what the solution is. This is also one of the most common reasons women are prescribed antidepressants, when what's actually needed is a conversation about hormone levels. You walk into a room and forget why you're there. You lose words mid-sentence, words you've used 1,000 times. You reread the same paragraph and nothing lands. Estrogen plays a critical role in cognitive function, particularly in the hippocampus, the part of the brain most associated with memory and verbal recall. I want to say this clearly, this is not early dementia. This is a well-documented, well-understood effect of hormonal transition. For most women, there is a pathway to significantly improve this, but first you have to know what you're dealing with. If you feel like you're doing everything the same, eating the same, moving the same, but your body is responding differently, particularly around your abdomen, you are not imagining it. Estrogen decline shifts where the body stores fat. Pre-perimenopause, Estrogen helps distribute fat in the hips and thighs. As estrogen falls, that storage moves to the visceral area, around your organs, around your middle. This is also a metabolic shift. Blood sugar regulation, insulin sensitivity, and cortisol response all change. The eating and exercise approach that worked for the past 20 years can stop working almost overnight. That's not a failure, that's biology. Waking up with stiff joints, hips that ache, wrists that hurt in a way they never did before. Most people, including many GPs, will attribute this to aging. But if it's appearing alongside the other signs we've covered, it's worth considering a different explanation. Estrogen has significant anti-inflammatory properties. As levels drop, inflammation increases, and joints are often where women can feel this more acutely. If you've recently been investigated for arthritis or even an autoimmune condition and it's come back inconclusive, hormones are worth adding to that conversation. One glass of wine that you used to enjoy now leaves you hot, restless, and awake in the middle of the night. Your afternoon coffee, the one that used to get you through the afternoon slump, is now triggering palpitations or anxiety that lasts for hours. This is not a sign you've developed a problem. It's a sign your liver and nervous system are processing substances differently as your hormones shift. Alcohol, in particular, becomes significantly harder to metabolize during perimenopause. It disrupts sleep architecture and increases hot flushes. This last sign is less specific, and perhaps the most important. Many women describe early perimenopause not as a list of symptoms, but as a felt sense, a flatness, less enthusiasm for things that used to light you up, lower resilience, a feeling that you no longer quite recognize yourself. This is not depression, though it can look similar and overlap, and it can be genuinely distressing. It's a hormonal shift affecting neurotransmitters, energy systems, and your basic sense of well-being. And it is one of the main reasons women are prescribed antidepressants, when what they actually needed was a conversation about their hormones. If you've been sitting with this feeling and not been able to name it, this might be the moment it starts to make sense. If you've recognized any of these signs, don't panic, just get curious. You are not losing your mind. You are not getting old before your time. You are not weak. You are navigating one of the most significant biological transitions a human body goes through, and you are likely given no roadmap for it. Perimenopause affects roughly half the world's population, and yet most healthcare systems don't screen for it. Most GPs don't routinely discuss it, and most women arrive at it without a single conversation to prepare them. That is what this channel is here to change. If this is the first time someone has put language to what you've been feeling, you're not imagining it, and you're not alone. Please subscribe to the channel because the pause point is here for exactly this, to be the resource that didn't exist when most of us needed it.